Hello folks, this is PC31 the Vinyl Policeman, and I do like a box set. And just over a week ago this wonderful box set came out, and I've been looking forward to this one. There's been some criticism of it before it came out. I've not heard any criticism since it's come out, but this is Black Sabbath's album from 1983, Live Evil, and this was effectively the first Black Sabbath live album that was ever released. There was, Live at Last came out in 1980, but it wasn't sanctioned by the band. Ozzy produced a solo live album about 82, and that had virtually all Black Sabbath tracks on it from memory. And so the band, the Black Sabbath camp, were quite keen to get their own live album out, and Live Evil was the first one, as I say, in 1983. So the whole album is based on the 1982 Mob Rules tour. I mean, the Mob Rules tour was 81, 82, but this was all recorded on the North American leg in 1982. And obviously this is the period of Ronnie James Dio and Vinny Appice on the drums. So a very different Sabbath than we had in the 70s with wonderful Ozzy as the front man. So I'm going to take you through this box in a fair bit of detail. It's the 40th anniversary. This is the Super Deluxe edition. This is the vinyl one. I haven't watched it yet actually, but I've seen Jamie Cottle has done a CD version, which I shall watch after I've done this one. But anyway, Live Evil from 1983, Super Deluxe box set, released just over a week ago. One of the criticisms of this actually was that there was no additional bonus material. There was no unreleased material to it. But I'll take you through all the bits and pieces. But I think it's a high quality set, as Sabbath are doing throughout. I mean, my favourite so far is the Sabotage one, which came out. I think that's a fantastic box set. But they've now done, I think this is the 5th one. Got them all up there behind me. But that's the front. So that's the side. And that is the back. And it opens from the top. And what I tend to do is I leave the shrink wrap on the top, which after I've shown this, I'll carefully put it back on again. So four LP Live Super Deluxe. I should slip that back on afterwards. And the loose back sheet, which I always keep, looks like that. And as I say, I'll take you through all the contents. There's a track listing, which is the same as the original one for 1983, but I'll take you through that when I show you the albums as well. And there's the four guys at the top there, Vinny, Ronnie, and a wonderful geezer, and Tony Iommi. So basically, in the box set, when you first open it up, the first thing you see is this 40-page hardcover book. Beautiful book. I love smelling the books. I'm strange that way. Strange in many ways. I'll just give you a quick flick. What you've got in here is things like, you see ticket stubs, you see posters. It all covers the Ronnie James Dio period. So you've got Heaven and Hell, which is obviously released in April 80. You've got Mob Rules, which is January 82, and you go all through this period. Great photographs of magazines there. That's the tour program from Mob Rules, which you actually get in this. Really great hardcover book. Beautiful size. The other thing about this box set actually, which pleases me, is I use IKEA Kallax system, and as I know a lot of folks in the VC do, and this fits absolutely beautifully on the shelves with the rest of the Black Sabbath series. You've got a few box sets, great box sets, which irritatingly have come out recently, like Dark Side of the Moon. Fantastic box set, but it's absolute huge. It's a monster and it just doesn't fit anywhere. Keith Richards, Main Offender. Beautiful box set, stunning, but that's too big, doesn't fit on the Kallax. The Zeppelin series doesn't fit. Some Girls, the Stones doesn't fit, but this one fits in with the rest of the Black Sabbath ones. This actually shows the Mob Rules tour dates. And interestingly enough, I saw the tour, the Heaven and Hell tour. I saw them in April 1980, and on that particular tour, Bill Ward was still on the drums, and then Vinny stepped in when it went to North America, and he stayed with the band then. But on the second Ronnie James Dio tour, Sabbath tour, Mob Rules, I could have seen the guys on the 15th of January 1982, which is down here, Portsmouth Guildhall, but I didn't get to that one. I don't know why I missed that one. They did some dates at the Hammersmith Odeon, I noticed. So they did the 31st of December, 1981. That would have been an absolutely fantastic one. But it's a great book. It's obviously very hard to show you like this, but, you know, superb book, it really is. What you also get with it is facsimile program from Mob Rules. I've got the Heaven and Hell one behind me actually, but this is the facsimile of that one. Tony and Ronnie. Wonderful geezer, fantastic bass player. Geezer and Vinny. So that's a facsimile of the tour program, and then you've got the Black Sabbath new album Mob Rules, which I say it comes out in January 82 at that stage. What you also get on there, which we all immediately put on our bedroom walls because our wives love letting us do this sort of thing. I am joking, of course. Poster. Huge poster, which will go straight back in the box and never be seen again. There we go. Okay, so let's get to the actual albums themselves. So the main album, which is a double, it's the same artwork as the original was. There we go. Gatefold. The vinyl comes in polylined inners, quite right, not a cheap record, polylined inners. That's what all the labels look like that. So I'll say there's 2 records, and just to go through the track listing. So there we go. The interesting thing about this for me is that I absolutely love the Aussie period of Black Sabbath, and I still think it's the best period. But I think for Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules, when Sabbath do tracks from those 2 albums live, they're superb. And Ronnie James Dio, without doubt, fantastic rock voice, heavy rock voice, absolutely superb. When they do, and as I say, and I saw them on the Heaven and Hell tour, when they do things like Black Sabbath, War Pigs, Iron Man, things like Black Sabbath in particular, actually, it's so synonymous with Ozzy's voice that it's very, very hard to accept another voice, albeit a very good one, actually doing it. But when you get things like, you know, the Sign of the Southern Cross, Mob Rules, Heaven and Hell, really good. I mean, Ronnie comes into his own. But in saying that, a great job. This is always a very good recording. The criticisms of this were that the actual crowd noise was quite low in the mix, very, very low, and that is true. Maybe a little bit muddy, the whole recording, but not too bad. I thought it was always a good recording. But what's happened on this particular album is that it's been remastered by Andy Pearce, and Andy Pearce has done a really good job. He's brought the crowd noise up a little bit, not phenomenal, but he's definitely brought it up. It's got a bit more of a kick to it. It's definitely a bit clearer, and so the remastering has certainly done something to it, certainly better. Now the second record you get is the remix. And as I say, a lot of the criticism of this is there's no new material, there's no bonus stuff, and that is true. But this remix is by Wyn Davis, and he's remixed it from the original analog tapes, from the master tapes. And Wyn Davis was a friend of Sabbath all the way through, so he knew the music, he knew what they were trying to achieve, you know, kind of right from the outset. So he's done it very, very sympathetically, and very sympathetic to what they actually wanted. With this one, the crowd noise comes up even more. You get separated, especially of Vinny's drums, I'd say. You get really more separation of all the tracks, actually. Is it a vast difference from Andy Pearce's remaster? No, it's not a huge difference, but this is definitely the go-to for me now, the Wyn Davis cut. That's the actual inner of the gatefold. The four guys there. And they're obviously exactly the same track listing. I think what makes this period of Sabbath really interesting, all periods of Sabbath are really interesting, but I mean, things have been going really well. I mean, the Heaven and Hell tour, fantastic. The Bob Raw tour was great. The four guys were getting on really, really well. And but from the stories you hear, so the allegedly comes into it, Tony and St. Geezer were enjoying themselves throughout, and when it came to a situation where the guys had put some dates in the diary to actually get together in the studio and start to listen to the live recordings so they could start to mix this particular album, Ronnie and Vinny, so he turned up on time, keen to get going. Allegedly, Tony and Geezer didn't turn up for several days. Ronnie was playing with things with the engineer, allegedly turned the faders up to get his vocals up more in the mix. When Tony Iommi then comes along, kind of, you know, a week later or whatever, it's all in Sabbath folklore, and asks the engineer, what have they been doing? And he said, Ronnie's been fiddling with the faders, pushing his vocals up, trying different things. Ronnie's version is that they were kind of, you know, twiddling their thumbs. They were just seeing what they could do with the mix, etc. So you get different outtakes of that, and but the net result was Ronnie then went, walked, fired, whatever. Vinny went, and so Live Evil 1983 was released after Ronnie and Vinny had departed the band. So this is the first official live album of Sabbath, and it came out in, you know, Sabbath circumstances. But what a fantastic band they are. This is a fantastic live recording, one of the best live recordings, I'd say. Even going right back to that 1983 recording, it's still a really good one. Andy Pearce improves it, definitely. I think Wyn Davis takes that a little step further. So, let's say, criticisms of this, that there's not enough new material in it, etc., bonus material. But this is a high quality vinyl box set, and yeah, take a look, folks. It's fantastic. It's a great addition to your collection. So I hope that was of help, and I shall speak again soon.